Shabbat Shalom. Let me share some words about the Haftarah for Parashat Bamidbar, the book of Numbers. That Haftarah is taken from the book of Hosea, chapter 2, verse 1 through verse 22. And it would have been the Haftarah this Shabbat, were it not for the fact that we chant Machar Chodesh, the special Haftarah for the day before Rosh Chodesh, because we'll be celebrating the new month, Rosh Chodesh Sivan. Sivan will come on Sunday, so an early Chodesh Tov as well. But Hosea reminds us to remind God that God made some big promises about how good the world should be and how numerous the Jewish people should be. And in our time, in our Jewish consciousness, we still are concerned about the number of Jews participating in Jewish life and physically who are present on the face of the earth. But we know the blessing of a world of Jerusalem and Israel filling the world with Jewish presence. Happy Yom Yerushalayim on that account. It's Jerusalem Day to celebrate the reunification of our holy capital. And we know that the American community and other diaspora communities are strong. But we know that God gave a blessing to our ancestor Abraham, to Sarah, that v'chachol asher al sfat hayam, like the sands of the seas, you shall be immeasurable. So many of you. And Hosea, the prophet, Hosea says in a verse, in blessing the Jewish people and in praying to God and in that sense reminding God of the promises that the Holy One has made, Hosea says the following: V'haya mispar b'nei Yisrael kechol hayam asher lo yimad v'lo yisafer. You said, God, that the number of the children of Israel will be as many as the sand in the sea, which cannot be measured and cannot be counted. These first words of our Haftarah echo God's promise to the forefathers in the book of Genesis, that the Jewish people would be as numerous as the stars in the sky and the sand of the sea. Perhaps in understanding science, or at least in looking more closely through a microscope at sand, we can understand the meaning of being as the sand of the sea. Maybe it's not only about the particular grains and their numbers, immeasurable as they are, but maybe it's about the blessing that we would be like the sand, as diverse and colorful and multi-talented as the grains in the sands of the globe. And in that way, we would become partners with God in order to fill the world with blessing that's promised through the Jewish people. Now, since we're using this technology, I'm going to share my screen and show some microscopic pictures of sands of the globe, in order to emphasize the kind of blessing that this promise, you'll be like the sands, might represent if we think about it metaphorically. And that is, God blessed us to be diverse, with different opinions, with all kinds of positions, with the ability to discourse, with the ability to come together and create the boundaries for the world, like the sands do on the seashores, to keep the tidal waves at bay, to keep the rough seas in check. Now, let me show you that there are very diverse sands of the earth, and each of the shorelines full of sand, microscopically, when we look at that sand, becomes a kaleidoscope of different elements and materials that, again, reflects the very diversity of Jewish reality, Jewish opinions among our people. Here, you can see all kinds of wonderful colors. And these are found in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. With the unique elements there, you see there are clear grains of quartz, and some are incredibly rounded, as the description says. Look at these. As it says, intriguing array of sand grains. Reflects the diversity of marine life in the ocean around Maui. And how beautiful. Moon sand from the Sea of Tranquility. We've explored and we've found that diversity exists and reigns throughout the universe. Look at these wonderful spirals, magnificent colors. Skeleton Beach in Namibia. Japan, looks like a sapphire crystal. And look at this from Hawaii, bright greens. Plum Island, with its purples. And in Costa Rica. These fantastic sands of the earth. These are the very essential kind of microscopic realities that remind us that each of our own experiences and each of our own thoughts and each of our own approaches to the problems of the world are very different, and yet they all sit very closely together. And they create the boundaries and the borders and the guardrails for those stormy seas, like the sands of the world. When the prophet blesses God or God blesses us to be like the sands of the seashores, God is blessing us like Rav Kook really blessed us when he wrote a commentary on the Siddur and said that Talmidei Chachamim Marbim Shalom Ba'olam, that the Jewish people and the sages, they will be the ones to increase the wholeness of the world, the potential peace. And how will they do so? They will bring their arguments, they will bring their dispositions, they will bring the variety of their colors into the study house, into the modern land of Israel, in and around the globe through living in diaspora communities. And we will discover only through sitting together, speaking together, discourse, and proper argumentation that the world will be one day as good as God promised in the book of Genesis. May we understand and be enlightened by the variety of sands of the globe. And may we, in our prayers, like the prophet Hosea's, turn to God and say, remind God and pray. You said it was going to be good, ki tov. You said you'd make us like the sands of the sea, the stars of the sky. So please, God, help us become those stars. Help us become the guardians of this great world. Shabbat Shalom.